The training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Beep, beep, beep. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
A Shiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
They are our love bugs and companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life better. When we face unexpected challenges, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people and their pets. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Beep, beep, beep. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one. all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa,
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Got the wrong mic. All right, welcome back in to Ticket Weeknights again. I'm Harrison Arns running the ones and twos, and this is the Doane Athlete Project. We're here with Zach Fye and Guy Moran, both from Doane. And again, these guys are going to be running the show, and we'll have multiple guests kind of going in and out with different athletes. Again, give you perspective from these Doane student athletes, because there isn't a ton of media out there, and I think a lot of people don't fully understand that full picture. But guys, I'll throw it to you. Welcome into the show.
Thank you, Harrison.
Absolutely.
What's up, everybody? This is running the race. Me and Zach, first time going solo. I mean, obviously we got Harrison over here.
Yep, absolutely. And if you guys ever want to join the show, comment and get any questions for these guys, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo channel 951. And again, it's a great way to put a face to the voice.
But yeah, welcome everybody who's watching. Glad to have you here. Zach, how are we feeling?
You know, I'm used to that like 9:30, 10 o'clock bedtime. I got the A.M. class on Thursday, but Miss DeBoer let me scoot back my class to 9:30. So shout out to her.
Is that Danelle DeBoer?
That is, yeah. She's going to Norway. So
love her. Well, yeah. Well, we have a great show planned. Me and Zach, we came up with some good ideas.
A lot of car talks.
Yeah, a lot of car talks about an hour before. Not a whole lot of like weekly planning, but it was a good
and that's the reality of our schedule right now.
Yeah,
Right.
That's how we are. But yeah, so this is running the race, with Zach and Guy, and we're really excited just, to get started here and see where this goes. I think the first thing is we should talk about why we call it running the race.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, so I feel like, obviously Zach, you're a track guy. So that kind of puts into it. And also, running like basketball, you're always competing as well, like against people, and that's kind of has that same like with running the race.
So not necessarily running the race, but we're just going to talk about trying to compete and compete for Christ. So yeah, that's where we're gonna go with it. So to kind of go with that, you have the verse for that.
Yeah, so we got Hebrews 12:1. So basically, it just says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. And let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. Boom.
It's powerful.
Yeah. There's a couple verses. We found like 3 that are about like running and running a race. So that's kind of also how we came up with the name, but this one is
the one because we're gonna get you up for track. So
yeah, hey, yeah, maybe 800. Watch out, watch out. But yeah, so basically, we want to run with endurance. And I mean, what sticks out to you here?
Yeah, so I think the goal that we've talked about this, and we've been put in a space that we have grown together through FCA and through Brothers of Christ. So I guess our goal with this is to see the gospel spread outside of Doane and at Doane, and just to like encourage other Christians that as they're like at the 300 mark, at the 400, it may seem like and when they're about ready to fall, when they're struggling, God, that like they just have something to turn to. And maybe this show is an encouragement for them. So that's where we want to go.
And I feel like it's as athletes, we have a big platform that we'll have fans come to the game. We have little kids looking up to us. Even our teammates. We always have eyes on us. So we always have it's a privilege that we can just show God. and everything that we're doing in sports, and that's a great platform to have. So
Yeah, I think Tua actually was talking about that on Sunday after the game, how he doesn't get to church on a Sunday at all. Yeah, so just to see that platform used, it's powerful. So with that, tonight we're gonna kind of dive into something that a lot of people struggle with, and I personally struggle with as I went to college, and I was creating an identity away from the one that I was raised in, and from the ones that my parents like put into like my moral code. So like, Guy, when you came to college, did you feel like there was a certain expectation or like a way that you were supposed to identify as an athlete or like as a basketball player?
yeah, 100%. I think social media shows you like maybe like uh like what you should be acting like and what are the social norms and stuff. I think for me, like I really just tried to fit in,
Hmm.
and I wasn't comfortable being myself, honestly. And that that was a real struggle for me, kind of just finding my identity. I knew God at the time, but like I was kind I kind of just added him to my life. I wasn't, living for him, kind of like what Tammy was
Yeah, like
talking about.
you added him to your life, but like your life wasn't about God. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so your life wasn't God. Yeah. So like, as you like explored that, do you think having that like mix of like identity or like a crisis or like a sorry, identity crisis, do you think that like affected your play?
Um I don't I I think it definitely did, especially during the hard times, at least. Like when you have your identity in sports or something other than, Christ, like when you fall on your face, like it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's and then like and you don't know where to turn to, and what the things you are turning to, they're not giving you any like relief at all.
Hmm.
And uh, when Christ came into my life, like that totally changed. Like after a bad game, or with any like frustrations that are happening in sports or even in life, like I can turn to him, and yeah, I had a bad day, but like I still have hope. I still have, a lot of peace.
Yeah. And we've talked about this as well, but like we feel like there's a stigma almost that like athletes like have to be in this grind mentality, like I'm completely like focused on my sport all the time. That's like all I can have.
Yeah.
Like there's no time to do anything else. And I want to say Paige Buckers maybe talked about this
Yeah.
actually, but like she was encouraging uh guys and girls that they have to like find their identity somewhere outside of their sport. And that's gonna help their sport.
Yep.
Um
And she like went through like some pretty
two
gnarly
ACLs.
injuries.
Yeah, I think.
Mhm.
So that's yeah, I mean, she probably had to deal with that the most,
Saw that with Serena Williams too. Remember when she had to take a mental health break
Yeah.
and people lost their mind? It's like, how could you not do this sport like it's the only thing she has in her life?
And that's the crazy thing about like sports athletes, like they they're supposed to be like superhuman. Like people expect them just to never get injured and never like have struggle with mental health or have anything wrong with them. And but like they're human too,
And like she's the best in the world.
yeah.
And she's struggling with it.
Yeah.
Like if you and like so maybe like if you win, that doesn't solve everything.
No.
That's something to ponder on maybe
Yep.
there. Yeah. So I think a big difference for me, going through injuries as well.
Yeah, tell us a little more, I mean, about that. Like
Yeah.
talk about like your like what your identity was like before your injuries.
Mhm.
Obviously explain what your injury was, and then say like how what's changed.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So my freshman year in college, I had my labrum fixed. That's like a lot of people have that.
Mhm.
Usually not coined like that big a deal. Um, but honestly, like my only intent, um, in track was to be an All American, be a national champion, and get like all the things from the flesh that like have to do with that, like social media clicks. And like it sounds stereotypical, but it's true. Like I was chasing clout
Yeah.
with my athletics. And then all of a sudden, fast forward, don't get to compete at all. Because the first surgery was not successful. And like I was presented the same opportunity. It's almost like, to me, I interpret this as like God saying, Zach, like, wake up. I'm giving you the same opportunity.
See what you do with it.
Yeah. Like, are you really gonna like turn away from me twice?
Mm.
And for me, it was a James 1, 2 through 4 moment. Consider it joy when brother decisions when you encounter trials of many kinds, for trials produce perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you're whole and complete, lacking nothing.
Boom.
Yeah. Memory verse.
Love
Love that one. But so what came from that really is I stopped viewing hard practices and success in sports as an opportunity to glorify myself, but rather serve as a testimony about the good work that God can do for you.
Yeah.
So this time around, I mean, knock on wood, I'm healthy. Yeah.
And the cool thing about that is, like, during your second time around, that's when me and you became friends. And and so I've been able to just see and walk with you during this time, and it's been very powerful for me. And like the one thing I will like say, like, it's just like you have a heart of a servant, and bro, and like you're always like, you just do so much for others, and God's been working with you, even past like to the first injury, and it's so amazing to see how far He's taken you, Lord. And you praise God, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. No, thank you.
Yeah.
So I guess to kind of like tag off that, what was different the second time around, and we've talked about this as well, is the importance of having for us men that you can like have love for, and have a love that is through the gospel and through Christ. And that's kind of, I don't want to say frowned upon, but that isn't necessarily encouraged.
Mm.
I don't think among like especially male athletics.
Yeah.
And that takes us again to some more scripture. Ecclesiastes 4, 9, 10. Two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble.
Boom.
So that is encouragement there. And just it really speaks to the importance of having teammates and having friends that you have a relationship with that's beyond this worldly relationship.
Yeah, I think it's also really important, in the sports aspect. Like, you can't do anything, you sometimes players can get away with, just doing it by themselves and stuff, but you really need it's a whole team game. And I also think it goes with life as well, because I know with a lot of stuff that I deal with, or if I fall, I stumble, I'm calling you and Luke up.
Yeah.
Like,
vice versa.
and that's so powerful to have, because we're not supposed to go through this life alone. We're not supposed to, I feel like I used to do that, back in the day. Like, I would just isolate myself.
Well, like, we were just ashamed of our
Yeah.
sin. I mean, I should speak for myself, but like,
Yep.
I was just ashamed of how far I would fall short every time.
Yeah. And I think with our relationship with Christ and how far is like it's grown, yes, we're ashamed, but like we we cast our burdens on each other, and we tell each other what we're dealing with, and then we help each other grow. And that's the the powerfulness of Christ, and also like having, Christian friendships, it's really special.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just really don't get until you have it.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
I'm curious, when you see a guy like Tua, you mentioned it before, but kind of speak openly about it at that high of a level, like, what does that mean for you guys that you're kind of talking about it? I can guarantee you, if you're an athlete, and if you look at Tua's comments on that, there's a lot of people supporting him, a lot of people calling him all sorts of names, thinking he's a fool. What does that kind of mean for you guys to see a figure of Tua's stature, just be open about it?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is sometimes being a Christian is kind of cheesy. Like, you're going to be super raw. Like, you're going to be vulnerable beyond like what people are used to. And like, that's frowned upon. But like, for me as a Christian, it's super, super encouraging. It's be like, all right, if that dude can be like that raw, like live, like, then what's stopping me from, like sharing scripture with somebody random on Doane's campus?
And you use the word cheesy, and I think that's this summer, like, we're like, okay, if we're gonna commit to this, like, we got to know, like, yes, a lot of this stuff is gonna be like cheesy, praying in front of people, scripture, on, like on a podcast, radio station, like, it's it's gonna sound fake. Like a lot of people might, say, like, is this really real? Is this how they really like? And that's what we're embracing. We're not perfect, but we're gonna embrace the cheesiness, and live for Christ. And going on what you said, Harrison, it's like, what's my excuse? If Tua can go up there, and it's just talk about his faith, like, what's stopping me? And I think it's really encouraging to look at, that, because as Christians, we're called to, even though what people might think that, oh, a lot of people probably said that he shouldn't have done that. Like, that's not the right time, not the right moment, place to do something like that. I feel like there was no better opportunity than that. And so I just, what's my excuse? What's stopping me from doing the same thing?
Yeah. And so Robbie Trent, he's the FCA director at Nebraska, played football at Doane. We were at FCA leadership camp like two summers ago. And it was in Ephesians, and his whole thing was like, we have to like urgently seek out people. And so like Tua doing that, like maybe he brought somebody to Christ that day. Like you wonder how many like clicks that had. I mean, millions, billions. What if him coming out and like sharing the gospel like that, like brought one more person to be saved?
If it saves one more, like that's a miracle, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we had kind of talked about as well as like when we're competing, um, like when do you think you have your greatest performances? And, like, is there something that's like different about like your best performances that you've ever had?
Yeah, I think my best performances is just like when I'm praying, like I'm playing freely, and um and just giving it all to God, and like not caring about what the result's going to be, but just trusting, trusting my work, trusting Him.
So you said something there, and it's the word freely. So that brings me to the point on like how many times are we gonna miss a shot, get tackled at the 2, or die on the last leg of a 4x4? Like, sorry, but the reaction from your teammates is gonna be to see your flaw most of the time.
Yep.
So like solely relying on that, for me, like I found like maybe doesn't work all the time. As much as I would like to have, 150 people on the track team, like come to Christ, that's not the reality of the situation right now. So, so I guess what I'm trying to get to is if we are relying solely on the reactions of other people, they're going to be disappointed. They're going to see how far it falls short. And the one person that's not going to be disappointed is God every time.
Yep.
So that I think is competing freely. So,
yeah, you can't worry about impressing people. I think we were looking at in Philippians, this week. But in sports, wouldn't you say that, Zach, that you're always trying to impress somebody? I mean, especially.
I mean, we just talked about this in my house.
I mean, it's just like in high school, you go through the times like, okay, your coach, your high school coach is always going to love you, and your friends, you grew up with them, they're going to love you, and you're not always worried about what they think because, hey, you grew up with them, and like, who cares? But like when it's college, like everybody expects you to be good, and when you're not, they're like, why is this guy on the team? Like, what is he doing? Like, how does he help? And the coaches are always watching. Like every day's an interview. Like my JUCO coach, Jeremy Ezra, he would always say that every day's an interview. So you're in an interview, you're gonna want to impress somebody. And so in practice, you're always trying to earn playing time, earn your teammates' respect, and everything like that. So it's very easy to get caught up.
Yeah.
So,
and and with God, you're interviewed once, you give your heart to Him, and He's
there.
He's done judging you, man. Like
the good and the bad, He's there
That's beautiful
for the rest of your life. So, but
so how do you guys kind of get into that headspace. Talked about it, right? It's hard not to play to impress someone.
Yeah.
So how do you get into that headspace to play freely? Is it just, prayers? Is it just, not even say anything, but just a moment of silence? What does that kind of look like? I'd imagine it's a little different for everyone.
So like, I mean, like in scripture, it does say like, you don't want to, try to impress others because like you just, the only opinion matters is the Lord. But obviously we have to, like, that's just the fact of it. And then we were talking about it this past Sunday, and I was like, God knows your heart. So yes, if God knows that you have to impress people, to get jobs, get playing time, do whatever, but you know, he knows your sole reason. So making sure that you're like in your mind and in your heart, you're guarding your heart, that you understand why you're doing what you're doing and who you're doing it for. And you're gonna in sports, you're gonna have to compete with others, and that's just the fact of it. But God knows your heart and where it lies, and if if it lies, with just caring about succeeding more than Him, He knows that. But if you're putting Him first, I feel like he knows that, and you can have peace with that. How about you, Zach? What do you think?
Like that's something that I'm still like trying to like key in on.
It's very tough.
So I tried to do the whole thing, like get locked in, like laser focus, like, and that just doesn't work for me. And so for me, it's trying to find joy. Throw back to the first time I was on air. That might be listening to Shakira before I run.
Or some JB.
Great artist. No problem with that.
Make him rap again.
Yes, for me, and it probably still for everyone. I'm not a like get laser focused guy. I'm a try to focus on the joy that God's brought to my life. And that's how I get going now. Prayer, man. I'm a popcorn prayer guy. We've talked before, like I had a hurdle rep today. I had a bad first hurdle rep, really bad. And it was just like, okay, I'm going to walk back. And I didn't like slap any hurdles or do anything that my dad was going to like get upset with me for. So, and I just kind of stood there and soaked it in and had a little popcorn prayer, and there we go. So I think everybody finds a different way to talk to God. For me, that's one of the ways that I do it. So
yeah, I'm always curious because I'm always big on nature.
Yeah.
Like just going for a walk. Man, that does wonders for me. It's crazy, like how much of your stresses just go away when you put yourself out in nature. And it's like, man, I'm worried about all this stuff, but all this right in front of me is what's real. Everything else just kind of self-made stress. That's always a big one for me.
Yeah, and also with our devices, that stuff's not real. And like what you're saying is like when we finally put that down, and we either pick up this or like you said, go outside and enjoy God's creation.
Yeah,
like
it's right in front of you.
That's real. That's what's real, and that's what matters. And yeah, that's awesome that you do that. So
yeah, we at the end of the summer we parked our truck on top of a hill in a small town, Nebraska, and our plan was to read the Bible for a little bit. I think we ended up out there from like 6 to 11:30. Like it was just like, wow, like, I don't do this more often. This is awesome.
That's insane to me.
And that's the cheesiness that we're talking about. Two guys on a beautiful summer night, like after dusk night, like on the top of a hill. Like it kind of seemed like, like
in
weird.
A taco cat folding chair.
That's what I'm saying. But like, we don't find anything weird with that because we're comfortable with like who we are, man. And, like we had great talk that night. We got into the word, and like, I mean, that's the cheesiness that, we want. So yeah, I totally forgot about that.
It's funny you say that because
it wasn't a date. I promise.
I had a situation that was so similar. Shout out one of my friends, Jason Becker. But yeah, it was one of those nights where, we climb on top of the whole old hotels abandoned, and we just like end up star watching, and there's like, two dudes hanging out.
Two dudes hanging out, man.
Well, yeah, but just looking at the stars. And again, like for me, that's always a good way. Just kind of get back to reality, let those outside stresses not seem like such a big deal. You put yourself in front of like the real world, and it's like, oh man, all that other stuff on my phone, it's a bunch of nonsense. But with that being said, though, we do got to go ahead and get to our first break. This is the Doane Athlete Project. I'm Harrison here with Zach and Guy. We'll have a couple more segments right after this.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine. heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you want to come and text us,
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Bure's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right. We are back to the Dome Project, running the race with Zach and Guy on 97.3, The Ticket.
93.7.
93.7.
Yeah, you mixed up 7.3.
Gosh, dang it.
No
Let's
worries.
try 93.7, The Ticket. All right, so we're just going to kind of just talk about our past weeks and, you know, kind of our sports. So, Zach, homecoming was last week.
Yes, and if anybody here does not know, Guy won the dance competition.
Boom.
For homecoming week.
Yeah, so it wasn't just me. It was a team effort. Shout out the men's basketball team at Doane. We had a little competition against the girls team, and we won. But I will say, like, the girls team did very well, and you know,
Yeah, like they were like on time, like had all the movements. Like
their
to a
moves were
T.
clean. The only difference was like guys, we could shake our butts like a little more, and they couldn't. You know, like that was the difference, and you know, and like we just kind of just sold it. You know, we just went all out. You know, if we messed up, we just kept it going, kept the energy rocking, and you know, we rocked the stage, rocked the Bob Erickson court.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of quote like all those high school coaches say: "If you're gonna fail going 100 miles an hour." So that was like,
Yeah, and we definitely did that. But hey, you much of a dancer there, Harrison?
Yeah, I mean, I came from a spot that was like a lot of country music.
All right. Oh.
And I hated it. So I'll dance. I'll
okay.
dance.
I thought you were about to say you're a good like line dancer or something.
Nah, I learned how to do like the pretzel and stuff like that, but
There you
it's
go.
never really my genre. Now if I go there, like I got some moves, but you know, being honest, they're white man moves.
There you go.
know,
Hey.
They work. They
They
work.
work.
They get me through the night. I'm not gonna be standing in the corner. So hey, you know,
They do their job.
See, I think for me that like you don't have to be a good dancer. You just have to believe you're a good dancer.
That's so much of it. Just look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and like half people aren't dancing. So if you're the one that looks like he knows what he's doing, then you know it works out for the best. Sometimes I shouldn't say all the time, but
Yeah. But yeah, homecoming week was a success. You know, Tuesday I think was we had Hoop Fest, and that's where we danced. You know, the men's basketball team had a scrimmage, had some of the students pop out, and, you know, do some dance competitions. And then
staff played the students.
The
as
staff
well.
played the students.
It was
10-6.
morbid 20 minutes of basketball.
Staff won. Beat the faculty. Beat the students. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
But okay, there's no way they're actually like trying to pick a team to beat the staff.
So it's just like random students.
Random.
Okay, that's important. Just for those listening,
But
no, it's not the Doane basketball team.
No,
they
yeah,
beat.
that's
Yeah, it is. If they beat us, then you might have to.
They might
hang
get
it
rid
up.
of the program.
Might have to hang it up. But yeah, I mean, the students still had a chance to win. They missed like 4 or 5 free throws, you know. So I mean, it's one of those things. But hey, we're proud of them. You know, they represented. But yeah.
Yeah, always next year.
But then we had skit night. That was Friday. That's when all the sororities and, you know, fraternities, they did that. That was fun. We went there.
Yeah, sororities and fraternities are a lot different at Doane too, at least from like what I've gathered.
Yeah, so kind of a lot different. Like, what's the difference between talk to me about like a small
So I
college
believe
to
they
you.
all like belong to a national organization. But I don't think like the fees stuff are as hefty at like Doane. I don't know what the difference is, but there were some skits that were pretty out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of male rumps.
Yeah.
Being thrown.
Who are your friends? What?
The Deeks.
Yeah, they had a really good showing, and I thought they were gonna win. They had me out of my seat like twice,
They
especially
didn't
when
follow the
Rocco
theme.
did that backflip.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. Shout out Rocco, third baseman, Doane baseball. Hey, Doane baseball. They're pretty
Tough.
good.
GPAC champs.
Like 3-peat? Haven't they won? They
think
won it
twice.
Yeah,
Twice.
last 2 years. Yeah, so they're pretty good. But yeah. So we had skit night Friday, then the game Saturday. It was just so cool to see everybody out there.
Yeah,
it's
I
packed.
think, you know, that's some with the small colleges. So I was raised at Doane, so I like have seen all these alumni come back. And it's crazy. Like I'll like know a face from 10 years ago, and that's like truly a small college thing. I feel like
Yeah.
I mean, there's something like about if you know everybody that's went there and like the types of like connections that you have because of like going to small college. So I guess I'm putting in a plug for Doane right
Yeah.
now. But yeah, the teams of 93 and 97 got
Yep.
inducted in the Hall of Fame. My dad coached one of those, but they had like 36 interceptions in a year.
Wow.
I think. So,
36.
yeah.
Did your
crazy.
did coach the DBs?
He did. He
All
did coach
right.
the
Okay,
DBs.
Ed. Ed Fly, man.
Speaking of some of that success too, we do have one from YouTube. Jared, if that one rings a bell, three-peat going for 4, baby.
Three
So,
Pete going for
keep
4.
tabs
Hey,
on the Doane baseball
hey, I'm
program.
so glad that they. Yeah, sorry we messed it up. Hey,
Yeah,
going for 4, man. Let's do it. Let's rock it.
So, any other programs at Doane that I know we talked
The
about
dance team.
girls wrestling,
Girls
team?
wrestling's good. So girls they had a wrestler like
she
qualify.
was second in the world or
Yeah,
something.
Like that's
like
incredible
nationally,
because
yeah,
worldly.
Yeah.
The fact that I didn't know that, people in the state of Nebraska didn't know that, just because she didn't go to UNL. But she's one of the best wrestlers that not just came from Nebraska, but in the country, in the world.
Yeah, Christella, right?
Yeah, I think that's who it is.
Yeah, and then last year we had so he was like 82-0, and then lost his senior
Boggy.
year in the national championship. Yeah, that's Boggy Boma. So like I think that's the NCAA like tie or NCAA record. But he's from Mongolia originally. So yeah, Doane men's and women's wrestling got it going on.
Dance team, they won conference, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Doane dance team. They're very good. And hey, shout out to them. They actually helped teach the men's basketball team all the moves. So we appreciate them so much. But
and then Dion asked, didn't Doane win a Super Bowl in the 70s? Yeah, I remember that one. It was very memorable.
Yeah. Of course they did. Hey man, we won.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you guys can always feel free to comment on the streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 951.
So I don't know if anybody knows this, but Tommy Frazier coached it down. Do you know that? Like I guess you're from Missouri, but yeah.
That's big news.
Yeah.
Who's Tommy Frazier?
Ooh.
I mean, it sounds familiar. But
Okay, Nebraska legend. One of the greatest
He's number
quarterbacks.
15. Like you've probably seen him like all the
quarterback.
Heisman winner.
My bad, all Nebraska people.
You're good. You're good.
I'm a Missouri boy, so
yeah, that's fair. Missouri, and again, if it's not like Nebraska's had crazy success lately to where, person of our age group, I'm always following them because I'm 24 and I grew up with them, but they've fallen off a little bit. So outside the nation, not everyone's always keeping tabs anymore.
I'm kind of mad at myself. I was just talking to someone about that, like him coaching at Doane. It's probably you, but yeah, that's
he had like a 3 or 4 year stint there, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did not go so hot.
Yeah, that's all right though. We love it.
It's tough, and that's always like a tough transition, especially like from players to coaching. I feel like they're always capable of them, but yeah, it's got to be like a patient process. Yeah. I'm always kind of curious, like how those turn out. You got those Dions, which is just insane, but it's a tough thing to do. Coaching is just a whole new element.
And especially for Dion, like he just has a way like to just have players just believe and also just want to come play for him. So I think, they'll just keep getting better with that. But
what does a coach look like that for you guys? What does a coach embody that's a guy that I want to play for and I can get behind?
I just want, the coach to accept me for me, honestly. He knows how I like to play. He'll let me be myself, obviously, and whatever his system is, like I'm going to have to adapt to that. But after, what his rules and how he wants me to play, like he lets me be myself. Like that's a guy I can play for. And, that's for me.
Yeah. And like in like a team sport aspect, I've always thought like the really great coaches were like the ones that were most willing to adapt their scheme to like the types of players that they had, not ask the players to change for them. And like, not necessarily in like a culture standpoint, like, but more so in terms of like, if you got speed, like maybe we're going to do more Jeff Sweets, throw slants. And then for me, a great coach for me is a relationship builder. You have to want to compete for somebody because college sports, I mean, it's not like high school. You're showing up and you're doing the same thing for 8 months. So, and like the other thing with that is you're going to be completely by yourself. You're going to have to go to class or you're not going to go to class. And if you don't have like type of relationship with your coach where, like you're going to let him down if you don't go to class or maybe like you don't run your heart out. That's just huge for me. That's one of the things like my dad has embodied too. Like I don't think anybody wants to let him down because of the relationships he's built. So
I've actually heard that from like, I think from some of your like teammates that like when they go out there, like they just want to do good for your dad. And like, like they want, like they know how like much he cares for them. And like, they just want to go out there and give it all they have for him. So I think that's a big, like, just testament like how your dad is as a man and the coach.
And just having great teammates too. I
Yeah.
mean, when you care about like in track's a very like individualized sport, but like that's not how we viewed it at Doane. At least at Doane, track's a team sport. And I'll say that wholeheartedly. You're going out, you may run 100, but that's not 100 where you're performing for yourself. You're a direct representation of how the team's going to compete. And yeah, we're a team, not a bunch of individuals.
How hard is it to develop like that kind of like team aspect in track? Because I mean, I never really viewed like, obviously you can get team points and, you can win as a team, but like I never really viewed it like as a team sport. So how do you develop that culture? And like, how do you like, at the beginning of the season, how do you like set the standards? Like, hey guys, this is how we're going to do it. Like, we're going to be together through this.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with consistency in the culture. And I think that's one thing that a lot of teams struggle with is they don't have like a consistent coach or like a consistent set of values being preached. And ours has been consistent for 40 years. I mean, that's when my dad's been, and my dad learned from the dude there before. But like for us, I mean, we all do our track warm up at the same time. I think that's pretty rare for track. Like a lot of event groups, like they'll like high jumpers will warm up by themselves, long jumpers, like like they'll do their own thing. But like for us, like we warm up together, and like again, sounds cheesy, but like anytime you have the opportunity to like give somebody a high five or like kind of get them going, like that's like something that we try to do early in practice just to bring everybody up. So
it's the little things like that, like high fives, just talking to your teammates. Like, yes, it could seem like there's like, hey, dude, there's no reason like to give them, 25 high fives and warm ups, but it's just like, I don't know, something about it. Like, there's no reason behind it, but there is a reason behind it. Like, and that's just to develop that culture and what you said, consistency. Like, you can't just you can't just come in there and just like change your culture. It's got to be an everyday thing. And obviously, the track program, you walk in there, you see all the banners, you can see that there's been consistency there. So that's very, you get your dad's done a great job and you guys are doing a great job. I know you guys are going to do great this season. So
for sure.
I'm curious, how did you handle, coach's son, kind of Mike? Because we have
Daddy's
Sam
boy.
Hoiberg. Yeah, Fred Hoiberg, obviously the father of Sam Hoiberg, and he made some plays last season. Then it was never a question anymore, right? But before that, he wasn't stepping on the court a lot. How do you kind of go through that in your head? Because whether people are saying it or not, I'm sure some of those ideas probably come in your head. Like, man, I don't want people to think I'm only here because my dad's the coach. And then obviously the injuries, you had to go through that as well. So how was that for you, and how'd you kind of get through that?
Yeah, so honestly, a lot of that came before I even committed to Doane. I had no intention on going to Doane at all. I visited Nebraska, Wichita State, the Naval Academy, talked to Central Missouri. I had no intent in going to Doane for that exact reason. Yeah. I wanted to earn like my own. I wanted to create my own identity, like away from my dad. So like that was something I was trying to escape, and came here, and obviously like I've competed like 2 meets. So yeah, like people might be wondering like, how is like did people actually vote for this dude like to be a captain for 2 years? And I hope that with the way I compete every day in practice and the way that I've tried to lead, maybe not physically the past like year or two, that they understand that I'm a lot more than just the coach's son.
Well, yeah, and you're captain 2 years is what you said?
Yeah,
and
2
that's
years.
and that's players voting?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's your answer. I think people are bought in on you.
Yeah. For sure, for sure.
Yep. And with that being said, we do got to go ahead and throw it to our last break here. And again, this is the Doane Athlete Project here with Zach and Guy. We'll catch you guys on the other side of the break.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And we are back. All right, I'm gonna try this again. This is 93.7 The Ticket.
Yep.
And this is the
right
Doane Project. How we doing? Yeah, so this is the Doane Project, and this is Running the Race with Zach and Guy.
I got some listeners out at the window.
How you guys doing? You got the cowgirl boots on?
Shaking your hands
Do
at you?
you know
pointing?
them? I don't know. If they just wait like 5 minutes, we'll be out there. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. We'll be out there.
Look at that. You guys are already getting fans.
Christian dating app.
Hey, Christ Place. Take you to church someday.
Man, they're really trying to get a full conversation with you guys. I'll put them on the window. I've never seen this before. These people are incredibly eager to come and meet these guys.
How we doing?
Yeah, they're just waiting so bad.
Awesome.
That's funny. So I guess you guys got plans after the show, is what it's looking like right here.
Her birthday.
Possibly.
It's her birthday. Oh,
it's a happy
so
birthday.
It's her birthday. So happy birthday to you.
Shout out to the listeners.
Awesome. Yeah. What's her name?
I'm pretty sure they can't hear us through the sound.
Okay.
Yeah, this is for all those who are listening on the airwaves, you're probably just like, what the hell is going on?
So sorry.
For those who are
You guys are probably
listening, we had two girls come up to the window. They seem to have a liking to Guy and Zach here. Or at least that's what I'm picking up. And it appears to be one of them's birthday. So who knows what this looks like after the show for you guys. So nonetheless,
Happy birthday, bud.
Oh, good try. Well, the show's, we have about 5 minutes here, and then I'll let you guys go out of here and meet your new friends, potentially new friends, I'll put it that way. But nonetheless, what do you guys have up ahead? Is there anything that you want the listeners to know if they never come to a Doane event, if they want to check that out? I'm trying to take this seriously.
I believe that Guy has a basketball game October
26th, and then we got October 29th at PBA. Pack the dump. Pack.
Actually, I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, what?
Pack the
Pinnacle?
Pack the bank.
Pack the bank.
Pack the bank.
They usually say protect the bank.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
they better protect the bank.
Spread us on Doane.
On the 29th. That's a Sunday.
Protect the vault.
Lord willing, I can go to church that day and then also get a dub against UNO.
Is that
Let's go Doane, baby.
Is this will be your second time then playing at PBA? Were you guys there last year?
No, they played them a couple years back.
Couple years ago.
But
okay.
Yeah, so great opportunity. We also play UNO like a couple weeks a couple weeks after. But yep, so 26 we have Union College, 7:00. That's a home game, and then we got the UNL. That's Sunday. Let's see what time.
Hey, Guy, how are you gonna feel if I have
you better not? What
if I have more
what are you
points
about
than
to
you
say?
at PBA, like for a career?
I mean, how many? I don't know. So how and when did you score those points?
Sophomore year, we're the 8th seed.
All right.
Playing
And who
York,
you played?
playing York, number 1, undefeated.
Played York.
We went double up. We were up 12 with
how many did you have?
a minute. I don't know. I don't remember.
Too
the
many to-
stats. I remember the loss.
Too many to count.
No, we were up like 12 with a minute 20 and lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that York team was different. They got Garrett Snodgrass still plays for the Huskers over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Brady Danielson plays at North Dakota still. Yeah, they were. I believe they won the football state championship and basketball state championship.
Yeah, they were different. Do you guys remember the Bago boys? With
Wingett? Yeah, David Wingett, man.
We played them in my
Bago boys.
division finals championship game.
Okay.
And we made a nice little run there. We were down by like 20, and we had a guy named Sam Anderson who just was like, well, we're going to lose unless we start hucking shots up. And he started taking like Steph Curry threes, 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row.
Knocking them down.
Yeah, and it became a game. And but yeah, they still won. David Wingett, my lord, 6'7" point guard. Or C2 basketball. You don't see a lot of that. If it's 6'7", 9 out of 10 times it's playing center in C2. But dude was just different, and crazy era of basketball. The Bago boys.
Yeah, no, they rocked PBA. They had the place filled.
They could have beat, I think they were C2, but they could have beat C1 probably. They could have beat B. I don't know about A, but man, they were really good for that level.
These guys like brothers?
No, it was a reservation, Winnebago, and they had a reservation team. And
I thought that was like a last name, Bago, but
no.
Yeah,
So,
now I know what you're talking about.
That's
cool.
So my cousins, they went to West Point Center Catholic, and we went to an open gym over Christmas break because they have a moratorium.
Yep.
Whatever pulled up, and David Wingett was in the gym, and
wow,
yeah, I was humbled very fast. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I can't remember what unfortunately, I don't know what happened to him. I can't remember if it was a great thing or not that he couldn't get to the next level. But that was always kind of a bummer for me to not fully see the full potential of David Wingett. Man, you guys are popular on the window. We better get you out of here pretty soon here.
That's what I'm saying.
He was at South Dakota State for a while, wasn't he?
Yep, he went to South Dakota State for a little bit.
Like Baylor and all them, and Charlie Easley.
Yep, and I don't want to say it was great. I'm not certain on that, so don't quote me on it, because I don't want to paint David Wingett to be out this guy if that's not at all true. But I know he had some hiccups. Could have even been something like injury, so I'm not there for sure. But I know he definitely had some hiccups that, it was just a huge bummer that nonetheless, we really couldn't see the full potential of David Wingett. But the Bago boys, they were fun to watch, and they definitely rocked PBA. But before we get out of here, we got the game, October
26, 7:00.
7:00.
Yep, at the Haddocks.
Zach, you're just working out still?
Yeah, I'll be coming back to the track. Yeah, I don't think we have a meet till December. So
okay, absolutely. That being said, though, this is going to be it for the Doane Athlete Project. Again, I'm Harrison. That's Zach and Guy, hosts as always for the show. We will catch you guys next week.